In our interactive PDF introduction video, we demonstrated some features for our sample newsletter. In this segment, we're going to concentrate on building a solid interactive PDF foundation using InDesign. We'll look at constructing the background and footer, then show how we set up the toggle buttons for changing to and from full screen mode. So let's take a look at our InDesign document. I've created a couple of pages and put some reference text on each one. And notice that the master page footer has been applied to both. I'm going to activate some layers that I've created. The first one being the background layer. The next one being a border layer. The bevel effect is created using an InDesign object style that we've called footer bevel. I'm going to now lock down those first two layers and bring our navigation layer into play, and notice that it's got a couple of objects that are going to turn into buttons later on. Because I've used an object style, even though that layer is locked, I can still change the appearance of those objects without having to activate the layer. Now we're ready to create and activate our full screen and escape buttons. Let's concentrate on the full screen and escape objects that we want to turn into buttons. As we click each, you'll see that each one has a different object style applied, reflecting both the regular and the rollover effect that we're looking for. Let's open up the buttons panel, and with full screen selected, we're going to click on Create New Button. We'll select the name and change that appropriately. Then we're going to go to the flyout menu and verify that this button is going to be visible on our PDF. If we go down to the rollover proxy, we're going to change or apply the different object style to show what it's going to look like in rollover mode. Let's go back to the buttons panel and let's choose an action. Notice that the event is on click. We can now choose an action that says view zoom, and we'll now call it full screen. Let's go to the escape object and do the same thing. First, turn it into a button from the buttons panel. Name it appropriately. Let's go to the flyout menu. Verify that we want it hidden in the PDF. Take a look at how it's going to look in both rollover and normal mode. And in normal mode, we want to change that object style so it looks like our other button. Go back to the buttons panel and work on the navigation functions. Back to full screen, we're going to add a new wrinkle here. Not only is it going to change the view, we're going to show hide buttons on click. We're going to make escape visible, and with 2 clicks you'll see that red line through full screen render it invisible. Now for the escape button, on click, we want the view zoom to change from full screen. We also want to show hide buttons. And now do the opposite. We want escape to be invisible and full screen to once again pop into view. This is ready to test out. I'm going to export, Command or Control E, find a location for my PDF document, make sure that interactive elements, bookmarks, hyperlinks are clicked on, and export. My document's now open in Acrobat. You can see that when I roll over, it applies that other style. When I click, it goes both to full screen and then makes the other button appear while disappearing itself. Test out that one, and we toggle back. Let's review the attributes of one of those buttons. We'll select full screen, go to the buttons panel. Unclick our actions are view, zoom, and show hide buttons. Full screen is going to be invisible. Escape is going to be visible. If we were to select the escape button, the exact opposite would be true. Full screen would come into view, and then the actual escape button itself would be rendered invisible. Let's select both of these guys now. And let's align them, basically stack one on top of the other. We're ready to test one more time. Here we're testing out our document in Acrobat. One click, full screen, and the escape button becomes visible. Click the escape button, full screen becomes visible. Remember, we had the setting that rendered that one button invisible at the beginning. It's important to remember to do this on the master page, so you only have to do it one time for your document.